Your car is stronger than you think. Right now, as you're watching this, it's holding back, quietly, obediently, giving you only a fraction of what it was built to deliver. Not because it's broken, not because it's old, but because no one ever showed you how to unlock what's already there. I know that sounds dramatic, but last month alone I watched 3 drivers spend over $1,000 each fixing problems that could have been avoided in under a minute. I've seen invoices, service notes, warranty loopholes, and quiet dealership habits for 2 decades now, and at some point you stop feeling impressed and start feeling angry. Because most cars aren't failing. They're being slowly muted. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on 17 overlooked, misunderstood, and deliberately underexplained car care techniques that put performance, smoothness, and longevity back in your hands. Stay with me to the end, because the final trick costs less than lunch, takes 5 minutes, and is the reason my own truck crossed hundreds of thousands of miles without ever opening the engine. Let's start with something almost nobody realizes their car is doing: learning bad habits. Modern vehicles don't respond directly to your foot anymore. There's a computer sitting between you and the engine, constantly adjusting throttle behavior based on how you drive. Easy starts, gentle acceleration, short trips. Over time, the system assumes that's all you ever want. It narrows response, dulls acceleration, and softens the engine's personality. Dealers call this adaptation and charge to reset it. In reality, the car never resets itself unless you force it to. A simple ignition and pedal sequence wipes those learned behaviors and lets the engine relearn from scratch. When it happens, drivers don't describe it as faster, they describe it as awake. Like the car remembered who it used to be. But sharper throttle means nothing if the air entering the engine is dragging years of residue with it. Open the intake of almost any vehicle that's seen real mileage and you'll find it: dark, sticky buildup clinging to metal surfaces. That film restricts airflow, disrupts fuel mixing, and quietly steals efficiency. Shops sell this as a premium service. In reality, it's chemistry and patience. When you introduce a dedicated cleaner into a warm intake, the engine fights it at first, stumbles, coughs, smokes, because you're literally burning away years of deposits. Once it clears, idle settles, acceleration smooths, and fuel consumption drops. I've watched cars pick up measurable mileage gains from this alone. Not because anything new was added, but because something old was finally removed. Smooth airflow won't save you if the transmission underneath is silently wearing itself out. Lifetime fluid sounds comforting until you realize lifetime rarely means yours. Heat, friction, and microscopic debris slowly degrade transmission fluid long before it ever looks dirty. The danger isn't old fluid, it's shocking the system with a full flush after years of neglect. That's where partial servicing changes everything. Replacing small portions at shorter intervals refreshes the system gradually, keeping valves clean and pressures stable. I've seen slipping transmissions recover simply because they were finally allowed to breathe again. Combustion itself depends on precision so small you can't see it. Spark plugs arrive, ready to install, but that doesn't mean optimized. A gap that's slightly off can weaken ignition under load, especially as components age. Subtle adjustments, measured in thousandths, can stabilize idle, sharpen response, and improve fuel burn. It's one of those details factory specs allow for tolerance, but real engines feel immediately. Then there are the sensors quietly running the show. Oxygen sensors, airflow sensors, components most drivers never touch until a warning light forces them to. Over time, they don't usually fail, they slow down. Carbon coats their surfaces, dulling their reactions. The result is an engine that runs richer than it should, burning more fuel to compensate for uncertainty. Cleaning restores accuracy. Suddenly fuel trims normalize, hesitation disappears, and mileage climbs. It's not magic. It's maintenance that was never advertised. Air enters through a system designed to be quiet and compliant, not efficient. Inside most factory airboxes are chambers meant to reduce noise, not restriction. With careful placement, subtle breathing improvements allow cooler, denser air to reach the engine without triggering sensors or heat soak. The difference isn't loud, it's smooth. Acceleration feels less strained, like the engine stopped holding its breath. Of course, none of that matters if the airflow data itself is wrong. The mass airflow sensor is one of the most sensitive components in the entire vehicle. A microscopic layer of dust can misreport incoming air, throwing off fueling everywhere. Replacement is expensive. Cleaning takes minutes. When corrected, engines don't just run better, they feel balanced again, like the math finally adds up. Fuel is another quiet killer. Many modern cars hide their filters inside the tank and label them permanent. What actually happens is restriction builds invisibly, starving injectors over time. External filtration restores transparency, literally. When you can see fuel condition, you regain control. It's preventative, simple, and one of the most effective long-term safeguards against expensive failures. Carbon doesn't stop at the intake. Inside the combustion chamber, deposits raise compression unevenly, promote knock, and reduce efficiency. One of the oldest techniques in engine care uses controlled vapor to loosen and expel that buildup. Done carefully, it restores smoothness and quiets engines that sounded tired for years. Done recklessly, it's dangerous. Respect, patience, and moderation make the difference between renewal and damage. Ignition strength is another layer few consider. Some coils across platforms share designs but deliver different outputs. Swapping compatible higher energy units stabilizes spark under load, improving consistency rather than raw power. The engine doesn't feel stronger, it feels confident. After any major change, the computer needs guidance. Letting the engine idle undisturbed during a recalibration window allows it to relearn baseline conditions cleanly. It's the difference between adaptation and optimization. Timing, too, is conservative by design. Engines are programmed to survive poor fuel and poor habits. When conditions improve, better fuel, cleaner combustion, the system quietly advances timing on its own. Acceleration sharpens, torque arrives earlier, and efficiency improves without touching a single bolt. Exhaust restriction creeps in unnoticed. Heat cycles bake residue into catalytic surfaces, narrowing pathways. Carefully applied chemical cleaning under high temperature restores flow and eliminates false fault codes that often lead to unnecessary replacements. Pressure inside the engine matters as much as what goes in. PCV systems regulate internal balance, and when overwhelmed, oil vapor feeds back into the intake. Simple interception keeps everything cleaner downstream, reducing future buildup before it starts. Throttle delay is engineered in. Response controllers exaggerate input, but calibration tricks tighten it naturally. When pedal mapping is resensed correctly, the car feels lighter, more eager, more connected. Injectors, too, suffer from dilution when cleaned passively. Direct treatment restores spray patterns exactly where they matter. Engines respond immediately. Cleaner starts, smoother revs, quieter operation. And finally, friction. The invisible enemy. Oil protects, but additives designed to bond at a molecular level reduce where it matters most. In aging engines, that reduction isn't theoretical, it's audible. Rattles fade. Temperatures stabilize. Longevity stretches further than paper specs ever promised. Every technique you've heard today costs less than a routine service visit, yet together they prevent thousands in repairs. Start with one. Start today. Your car isn't worn out, it's waiting. If this changed the way you think about your car, hit like so more drivers see this. Share it with someone who's about to overpay for a repair they don't need. Subscribe for more insider car care secrets they don't teach at dealerships. And drop a comment telling me which country you're watching from. I read every single one.